mobile Verizon rep. But not just here, I'll deliver the phone to you in your home. While I'm there, I'll only sell you what you need and I'll personalize it to you. Want to have me get you connected? Then call me at 352-528-0020. I even offer unlimited home phone service for just $20 per month. Just call me, your mobile Verizon rep, at 352-528-0020.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
Yes, we will. 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, Matt Gibbs is here to answer your car questions. If you have one or two or three or 500,000, like Chrysler has, 500,000 of them. And, of course, the phone number to call Matt during the show is 622-9622, 622-WOCA. Matt is from Sunrise Automotive, where he fixes our cars, and Crossroad Auto Sales, where he sells us a new one. And the show is called Auto Repair with Personal Care. Where'd that come from? Hi, Matt.
Hi, Larry.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Here, I'm going to give you this paper ball. If I fall asleep, will you hit me with it?
Okay. You just got back from Jersey?
It's in Jersey.
And what'd you do in Jersey?
Joey was at the junior national track and field competition. He made it to the nationals.
And he made it to the nationals by being there?
No, he made it to, he qualified to go to the nationals.
Oh, was that the nationals though?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how did he do?
He did pretty good. He was in 11 events, and out of 11 events, he's 7 first places and 4 second places.
Oh, wow. Is it all about speed, or is it about style as well?
It's style or technique. It's a lot of.
Oh, really? So judges actually?
No.
Oh,
the technique gets you to go fast.
I got you. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
So as long as you get across that line first, you win.
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody's saying, you came in first, but you were swerving a little bit back there.
Well, if you swerve, you on certain races, you have to stay in your lane. And if your tire, if your back tire hits one of the lines, you're disqualified.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
is that hard to do?
I don't know. I've never done it before, so he seems to have a pretty good handle on it.
It was interesting when your son was in here because for some reason all along I thought two things: that A, you also were a driver, and B, he also was mechanically inclined. But it sounds like he's more of the driver and you're more of the mechanic.
Yeah, it's always been that way. That's our relationship. I'm his dad until we get to a racetrack. Then I'm his.
Is that right? Oh, it's got to make you feel good though.
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes we clash. We get out to the racetrack and I can see him doing something that he shouldn't be doing, and I'm not his coach, so I can't tell him.
Does he have a coach?
Yeah. Oh, yes, he has. Yes, right. He started being coached in track and field in this last November. And the coach that took him on and is coaching him is the same coach that is going to do the Parapam games, which is the Pan Am games for. So
help me understand. This is not motorized, right?
No.
This is just a wheelchair, and he's pushing it with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He wears these special gloves, and he actually punches the wheels. He actually punches them.
So what role does a mechanic have in that? Other than being dad,
there's bearings and there's steering compensators and there's tires and there's different things.
Is it a different wheelchair than the one he came in here?
Oh yeah. Here, I'll show you a picture of it.
Okay.
Just so you kind of, this is at the track and I don't know if there's a way for our viewers to see that, those that are watching online, but
if you hold the camera real close to if you hold your phone real close to this camera, they'll be able to see something. I bet. This is when you find the picture. So this is fascinating stuff. Oh wow! Here, hold it right in front of that. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. Yeah, definitely, you can see that. Wow, it's a 3-wheel. Wow, what a position he's got to be in to do that.
Yeah.
How fast does it go? Do you measure it in miles per hour?
They do. They can get up to 35 miles an hour in these things.
Wow, that's amazing. So I could literally be on a bicycle trail, because there's no way I'm bicycling 35 miles an hour, and they could pass me.
Oh, yeah. A lot of times they'll even be faster, not in the short, like in the 100 meters, because it takes them a bit to get their momentum going.
Right.
But in the 400 meter and whatnot, they can go in them as fast as someone can run.
Do you ever wonder about the children? And like okay, this is where you start to think, Larry's lost it. But this is a thought I've always had, that before we're born, like God says, where do you want to be born to? Oh, that guy, he's a mechanic. That'll be good for me, because I want to race cars. I've often wondered about that. How do we pick our parent, or do we, or what is this?
What I've always wondered is like, okay, I wasn't very involved in things, because both my parents had to work so much, and my dad was always gone working and stuff. But I'm just, I always wonder like how many superstars of certain things, whether it be musical, athletically, whatever, chemistry, biology, but because of the way that they're brought up, that they never get to use that thing that they were given, that's something in their genes.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably true a lot. Yeah,
and because they've never been guided in a certain direction or whatever, they never really ever found it.
I think you're probably right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think the opposite might be true too. A very, very privileged child might become a superstar in a field that he or she's not really that gifted at. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the exact opposite. So the really gifted kid. But then you have those stories of the really gifted ones that rise above everything else and somehow become household names.
Right. It's like, if Joey wouldn't have got injured on September 18th, we would never have known that he can do this.
That's true.
We would have never. And then, okay, so now he is injured. Right. How did we get to this kind of thing?
It is an interesting thing.
It's strange. And then he starts doing it. And now today, he's gotten 3 college offers from Arizona.
Is that right?
From Penn State and from the University of Illinois.
Wow.
He had the Olympic people.
Does he prefer the non-motorized, like these are like Olympic things he's doing now, compared to the motorized things?
Yeah. I don't know if he just wants to race. I think he would strap onto a tortoise and have tortoise races as long as he's racing, and he's competing against somebody.
We had this idea one time to help raise money for or raise awareness or something for some organization. And we pitched it to Lifestyle. They didn't want to do it. And the idea was to have pantomime horses, like 2 people in a horse costume, and race them. And it would be called human racehorses. See, because it sounds like human resources.
Okay.
What do you think? Would think he would want to do that? Well, of course
you'd have to make him
have some wheels.
Yeah, put a horse around his race chair, and he's off, buddy. He's gone. Is there going to be another horse there?
Is he going to be a winner? That's what you want to know.
Well, he's going to have to race against somebody.
Will there be a finish line? Yeah. So we could do that. Would you want to be the head or the butt?
I'm definitely the butt. If I'm with him, I'm always the butt side.
You're gonna have a hard time keeping up if he's going 35 miles an hour.
I know. I'll just hold on to him.
It's too funny. All right, we need to talk about cars somehow in here. The number is 622-9622. So Chrysler is not just recalling, but going to buy back 500,000. What are they buying back? 500,000 of?
It seems like Ram pickup trucks.
500,000 pickup trucks.
That's what it looks like.
Now that's got to be a fortune for them.
Yeah, that's.
So what does that mean? That the recalls were so bad that there's no way they can fix them all? They'll just buy them back?
I'm not sure exactly what. This is not just. Chrysler just doesn't wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, we got to buy these vehicles back." There's a lot of political stuff that goes along with all this.
Well, it says they'll fix them or buy them back.
Well, they said I think they said they would offer to fix the older Jeeps. There's older Jeeps that I guess have a gas tank issue or something.
Right. That's what it was.
And those are the ones that they'll either buy back or they'll fix. So, and I think the Ram trucks are, and it just messes up the whole market.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right, I have to explain that when we come back. Messes up the whole market. All right, we'll be right back. If you have a question about cars or anything, Matt's show is so eclectic. All kinds of topics. Right?
Yeah.
We'll be right back with Matt. The phone number, if you want to call, though, is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident for today. Intervals of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. Watch for localized flooding. The high today 84 to 88. Mostly cloudy later tonight, low 72 to 76. For tomorrow, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm or two, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. Tomorrow's high 86 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Prestige Food Trucks, the world's leading food truck manufacturer, specializing for the startup vendor all the way up to restaurant chains, is a proud sponsor of Food Truck Talks, the weekly show heard every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on The Source, WOCA News Talk, that brings you the inside scoop, ladle, spatula, spoon, fork, and plate from inside of the custom food trucks you see in and around town. Find what makes each food truck unique in its own way, from the food they serve to how it's prepared in their custom manufactured truck. Food Truck Talks, Wednesdays at 9 a.m., sponsored by Prestige Food Trucks.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements. From damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
One of the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking: will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Matt Gibbs is here from Sunrise Automotive and Crossroad Auto Sales. And the show is called Auto Repair with Personal Care. If you have a question about your car or your mother's car, call Matt, 622-9622, somebody else's car. Car troubles are weird. It's just, you don't like them at all. They're inevitable. They're always going to happen.
Absolutely.
But for some reason, we it's like, oh, man, here's another one.
Yeah. That's what keeps me in business.
I've been very lucky, knock on granite, with my car problems.
Yeah.
I've always broken down in a good place at a good time.
Man, you can't ask for nothing better than that.
No, that's God working with me, saying, okay, I'll break you down right here in your own driveway, which has happened before. All right, so 500,000. You said that's going to ruin the market?
Well, it's going to mess up the market. And I feel, I feel bad. And I just, when you read these kind of things and you hear about them, what about somebody that went out this last weekend and bought a Dodge truck that this is going to fall under? What happens to him? He just, And
it sounds like something bad. I mean, the steering wheel could freeze up or something, or not work?
It just says that the steering parts can cause you to lose control. So that's not a fun thing.
It makes you wonder how many accidents happened that was never diagnosed.
They're usually pretty good. I mean, if it's a pretty bad accident,
really,
yeah, they'll usually come up with especially if someone says something, they'll start looking.
Right. And you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Yes. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
See, Matt, if you have an automobile that measures your tire pressure on your dashboard, where is that sensor located on the tire? Is that like on the valve stem?
Yes. 95% of them are the valve stem. There's a couple manufacturers that actually have a sensor that's kind of glued to the inside of the wheel. But if you look at the tire and you see a metal stem coming out, then that's usually an indicator that is the sensor, and it's mounted inside the wheel.
Now, way back before they had these nice instruments, which it's a very valuable thing to have. When you went to have new tires and that, they always replaced the valve stem, right? That was part of the procedure.
Right.
But now, can they replace these, or is this kind of like maybe an expensive item that can't be replaced, or do they ever break down, or what would be the deal on that?
Yeah, they do break a lot. They don't really break per se, like mechanically break apart. Well, they have batteries in them, so typically what happens is and it's a sealed unit, so you can't go in there and replace the batteries, so you have to replace the sensor itself that contains the battery. So
in other words, if let's say you got 40,000 miles on a tire, you're going for new tires, it's smart to replace those.
It's I mean, smart would be, it would be smart. I don't know it'd be very cost effective. A lot of those sensors are about $100 a sensor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they can get pretty expensive. So they're not that big a deal to replace if one goes bad. You just break the tire down, pop it off, pop a new one on, and you're done. So I would hate to. I don't want to sit here, and I'm not an advocate of if you do tires, you need to replace your sensors because they're expensive.
Yeah. How would you be able to test it to make sure? Let's say you're going to take a trip and you wanted to make sure all four sensors were working correctly. What would you just go leave the air out of one tire at one time and see if it says low pressure, or how would you do that?
If the light, it's got a MIL, it's got a light that will come on, a tire pressure light that comes on. So if the light's not on, that tells me that the system is operating properly. When you turn the key on, don't start the engine, just turn the key in the on position, you'll see the light, it'll illuminate, and there it is. And then once you start the car, it goes through a test cycle, and then the light goes out. If the light stays on, then we know that we have a problem in the TPMS system. And then we can address that problem. It can be anything from low air pressure, high air pressure, or a faulty sensor, faulty receiver, faulty transmitter. Then we have to diagnose it the same way we diagnose, other computer-related items.
Yeah. As far as the valve stem is concerned, I mean, could you more or less say that, let's say you put 100,000 miles on your vehicle before you trade off, that you're pretty well safe that it'll last that long, or they get faulty before then usually?
It's funny because electrical things are they're just funny things. It's I've said this on the show before. We built a house, and when we built our house, we got to the place where we needed to put light bulbs in all the light fixtures. So we go to Lowe's and buy a case of light bulbs and screw them all in. And why does this one only last 8 months, and this one lasts 12 months, and this one lasts 18 months? It's an electrical thing, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. You can't say that these are going to be good for X amount of time. And it's kind of like, when you have
a customer that comes to you for tires and with those sensors, do you check those as part of the service of putting on new tires?
Well, a lot of times customers will come in and say, hey, my light is on. That's why they're there. And so what we always do now is, and it's something that, that you have to teach your guys and train yourself in order to do, is always, hook the scanner to it. Go to the TPMS system. If we're going to replace the tires, let's make sure that there's no codes hidden, and let's make sure that all four sensors are reading right, because if you do have a problem, now's the time to address it. So it doesn't cost, it doesn't take, we're not adding cost to a customer's bill.
Right.
You know, if we have to buy the sensor, then they have to pay for the sensor, but I don't have to charge them any additional labor to put in a sensor. We got the tires off anyways.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
If you want to call them at the number 622-9622, I think I would just, if I had that, if they died, I'd say, fine. I never needed them before.
Right, and you know, some people can go out there and actually check the air pressure in their tires. Some people are not going to check the air pressure in their tires. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
My wife is not going to check the air pressure in her tires. I'm going to have to check the air pressure in her tires.
Do you know, here's my thing on that. I check it all the time when I'm on a road trip. I hardly check it at all when I'm not on a road trip. So this one story I was on a road trip, and so I was aware that my tires were okay, but I guess I ran over something, who knows, and there was a car next to me. He said, hey, your right front is going flat, and I had no way of knowing it. It didn't feel like it was going flat, nothing. I pulled off, and thank goodness I did, because it was really flat. So, I mean, that in that circumstance, it would have helped me to have something that was warning me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But we see a lot of problems with that system. There's a lot of problems with that system. Yeah. That's probably the biggest light that we have to deal with on a daily basis is the TPMS light.
Really? So as a car dealer, you go out to one of the auctions that you go to, now you see a Dodge Ram. Do you say, I'm not buying that? They just...
yeah, absolutely. That's what I would do. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to get the whole criteria, all the information on what's going on with this vehicle, and not only that vehicle, but also the older Jeeps. What does an older Jeep mean? This report that Larry had and gave it to me this morning just says older Jeeps, but what does that mean?
Really?
You know, what years does that involve?
So right now in Ocala, I'm assuming there are some Dodge Ram trucks on some car dealer lots.
Mm-hmm.
Are those dealers out of luck now? What do they do?
I'm not
because nobody's going to buy them now.
Right. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'm not really sure. I just know that, you know, I don't even know if you bought this vehicle secondhand, does this apply to you?
But right now, if you don't own it,
right? If the dealer,
you've been looking at it, and you and your wife go, you know, I keep thinking about that Dodge Ram. You know, I think I'm going to go buy it today. Then you're on your way, and you hear on the news they're buying them back. Do you say, forget it, I'm not buying that thing?
I would say forget it until I knew all the details of what's going on. What, you know, and what steering problems are we having?
Yeah.
Is it something that can be fixed? Is it something that, you know what I'm saying? What is it?
So somebody with a Dodge Ram right now, they hear this news, they say, oh my gosh, I'm bringing my truck to Matt. I don't want to deal with I don't want to buy back. I don't want to deal with the dealer, whatever. I'm just going to go to Matt. So would you look and say, well, I mean, how would you know what to look for?
I mean, I know how to check the front end.
Yeah.
But is there some underlying issue?
Something you don't know about.
Right. I mean, I can't see Chrysler. I'm not as near as smart as Chrysler is. So
yes, you are.
Well, maybe, but I can't.
Not
see.
As rich, maybe.
Yeah, that's for sure. But maybe there's an underlying thing that's happening with the. I can't see them buying back 500,000 cars.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
Because a tie rod goes bad, or a ball joint fails, or whatever. It's going to have. I mean, back in the day, I remember back in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 90s, GM and Chevrolet had an issue with their trucks with the ball joints, and they buy the trucks back. They brought them. They flooded the dealers with all these trucks, and we replaced all the ball joints.
Oh, really?
Because they were having a ball joint issue. So this has to be something that's more severe than a regular front end component failing. And that's the information that I'd like to know.
Wow.
You know, maybe the control arm's breaking from the frame, or just something crazy.
Wow.
To where it's really unsafe.
Either way, I wouldn't find myself buying one. I mean, if I was right now thinking about it, then I would change my mind. I think I'd be so disappointed, because that's a nice looking truck.
It is a nice truck. And I would and for me personally, I'd have to have some more information before I.
Yeah, probably. That news probably isn't as detailed as you would like, right?
No, it's not.
Matt, what is your phone number?
My phone number is 352-690-1993.
All right. Call us if you need Matt's number repeated. We'll be glad to do that. What's your address?
Address is 1800 Northwest 10th Street.
Right here in Ocala.
Right here in Ocala.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Larry.
Always fun. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
We'll treat you right.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. Fiat Chrysler hit with a record fine over recall lapses on 11 million vehicles.
The Italian-American automaker faces a whopping civil fine of up to $105 million and must offer to buy back 500,000 Ram pickups and other models as part of an agreement with safety regulators. Also, owners of more than 1 million older Jeeps with vulnerable rear-mounted gas tanks will be able to trade them in